Hey guys, welcome back to the 25th and maybe last commentary video. So a few days ago, I saw a video from Captain Sparkles going through and ranking all the Minecraft updates, and I thought, wow, I don't have anything planned for Thursday, let's do that. And so we're going to do that today. I'm only going to be counting full releases because I don't have too much time. So let's start out with Minecraft 1.0, the full release of Minecraft. It introduced End, Brewing, Enchantments, Hardcore Mode, and of course the discs. And one of my favorite biomes, Mushroom Island. I'd say overall with content, this is a pretty big update. But if you think about it, Brewing wasn't fully fleshed out. It was a better version than... It's like an easier version than it is nowadays, but it wasn't fully fleshed out. Neither was Enchanting, not even close. Hardcore mode pretty much stayed the same, you just can't respawn. Pretty much everything else has stayed relatively the same, besides maybe the ice biomes. Nonetheless, I'd rank this one pretty highly. It's a pretty good update, you know, the first full release. Minecraft 1.1, I only have 3 things in my notes. And it's not one of those where I know all the features, basically, because I played them when they came out. There's literally just 3 features that are of note. There's beaches, and actually no, there's 3 words. Sorry, beaches and blacksmith loot. That's all I have down. Beaches? Huh? I could live without them, they're just deserts, oh god. However, blacksmith loot, now that's a cool thing, you know, that's something actually useful to people, unlike beaches, except for, like, I guess sugarcane and shipwrecks, but that's later down the line. Speaking of later down the line, we have 1.2, and that introduces a new height limit, jungles, XP bottles, all pretty good. I like jungles. I like XP bottles. It's a pretty good update. On to 1.3. 1.3 introduces villager trading, which I don't know where the game would be without it, you know? And jungle, desert temples, and of course, the ender chest. The ender chest, I use it on literally a daily basis. I don't know what I would do without it. Same with villager trading, like, I would have so many less things without it. Like, it's one of the best features in the game. But there's also another very useful feature in 1.4, because 1.4, the pretty scary update, introduces beacons and the wither and anvils, which are, I don't know if I could live without them. You know, those are also really important. And potatoes, and I love potatoes. On to 1.5. 1.5 introduced a lot of new redstone components. I think one of these was a repeater. Repeaters might have existed earlier, I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that comparators were introduced here, and also quartz. Quartz, of course, work with the comparators, but quartz in and of itself is a pretty awesome building block. I use it semi-frequently, usually for comparators and observers though, but observers are a little bit down the line. But you know me, I love redstone, so of course I'm gonna love this update a whole lot. And then in 1.6 they added horses and terracotta. I love terracotta, it's such a good building block. Great for, like, differentiating colors and build palettes. It's pretty awesome. Horses, never really use them. But at the time, they were probably pretty good because there was no elytra. But in 1.7, there's no elytra, but there's stained glass. And also Christmas was introduced, and I like sea lanterns. So it's pretty cool. Also amplified terrain. Big fan of amplified terrain. And also mesa biomes, and also acacia and dark oak. I love dark oak, so this is also a pretty good update. And then in 1.8, they add diorite, andesite, and granite. And they're useful sometimes, but a lot of times they're really good at clogging up your inventory when you're mining, so, you know, kind of neutral about that. Also have sponge and slime blocks. You know, as I said, I love redstone. I could not have my diamond mining machine in my survival world without slime blocks, so it's a pretty good update. And then we have the most controversial one, the 1.9 combat update. Oh, the side of the elytras. It's incredible, but also no server, a lot of PvP servers have not upgraded because of the combat changes, which I guess understandable, but combat is so cool. And it's balanced now. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Please, no, no, no. Oh. So it's a pretty good update, but then they hit us with the Frostburn update, 1.10. And, well, there wasn't much. There was polar bears, strays, and husks, 2 of which I hate, and the other one is useless. And also magma blocks. Magma blocks, they're pretty cool, and I like magma blocks. They're great for pigment farms, but otherwise they're pretty useless. But in 1.11, they added mansions, totems, and shulker boxes. Another thing I use a lot. Great update. In 1.12, they added a bunch of new colored blocks, and glazed terracotta. Glazed terracotta, kind of a colored block. It's too colored sometimes. It's great for flooring and ceilings, not so much walls. And you know, I'll be honest, concrete changed the game. Without it, I don't think modern builds would be where they're at today, because all you really had was like cyan terracotta and quartz, and there's only so many buildings you can make with that same palette. And then in 1.13, one of the most mixed feeling update I had, the phantoms were added. Thankfully, I never voted to add phantoms, so I'm not responsible for that mess. But I still have to deal with the consequences of people's actions, so that's nice. Oh god. But aquatic is pretty cool. Then in 1.14, they added one of the most consequential changes ever. The changes to villager trading, which, you know, while they're amazing for, like, builders who want a lot of blocks, they're also really bad, because it means that resources got really devalued, because, like, no longer is it impressive if you have a lot of quartz, you just have a lot of mason villagers. You know, that update was pretty cool. It was the first one I played, but the 1.15 update was the first one I actually played in survival, which is pretty cool. And it added beads, and that's it. Honeycomb blocks, I guess, which are the worst storage block because you can't uncraft them, and they're a pain to get unless you have a big bee farm. But then the Nether update was pretty cool. You know, rehauled the Nether, changed speedrunning forever, introduced one of my least favorite mobs, the Piglin Brute, because it kills you so quickly, but also netherite armor. Like, with netherite armor and full protection, you're basically invincible, which, like, is a negative in the sense of you can't die in hardcore, really, unless you try, like, you've seen hardcore videos nowadays, they all have totems, you know, and 1.14 made it way easier to get totems. Basically, hardcore is on easy mode now, which, you know, not a huge fan of that, but otherwise, yeah, that's kind of unrelated to 1.16, but yeah, 1.16, pretty good update, you know. Then 1.17, the biggest disappointment of an update ever. It's not empty. There's still stuff in the update. It added a lot of things. In fact, it added more items than 1.18 added, because 1.18 added literally no items. But it didn't add any of the cave gen, which is kind of what we were all looking forward to. But it did add Deep Slate. And Deep Slate is one of my favorite blocks to build with. In a not wood color palette, of course, because that's my favorite color palette. But I genuinely think it changed Minecraft physically and, like, game-wise, if that makes sense, like, the social aspect. It really, like, expanded from that, in my opinion. And then we had 1.18, new cave gen, finally got a use for all the other features, you know. One of my favorite updates, I'll be honest, because I love cave bases, and, like, without like the new generation, I don't think I could have my current cave base in my survival world, which is one of my favorite things I've ever made in this game. It has, like, literally everything right there. Regardless, 1.19, that was an interesting update. Added the Warden, added frogs. Now, I sworded the swamp back when that mob vote happened, and it finally happened. Great update. Lastly, we have 1.20, the most recent update at the time. And, you know, it added armor trims, which are pretty cool items. It added the netherite upgrade template. Not a huge fan, but, you know, game balance-wise, it kind of makes sense. It also added the sniffer, another thing that I voted for. And of course, it had cherry and bamboo blocks, both of which I'm pretty big fans of. But yeah, with that being said, that's the entire tier list. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry if my voice is bad, because I'm recording this at 7 a.m. because I'm starting to get sick and don't want to not be able to record this later. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, I'm dead.